Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Everything Entrepreneurship with me, Kyle Jerome Carter. Today, we're getting into focus. We're talking about some current events, everything that's happening. Um, but as of right now, time of recording, TikTok just came back. What is called? Trump said he's going to give a 90-day extension, trying to keep 50% ownership to U.S. And that means a lot for not just all the millions of Americans using it, but also again, they say 7 million business owners. I don't know how they know that number exactly, if it's less, if it's more, whatever it may be. But you got a lot of business owners affected by it. And there's good reason why it's back. Um, I really don't have an opinion on how everything going on. If anything, I'm more so looking at how they could get this stuff taken care of, but there's so many other things in America that are wrong that take forever. But it is what it is. We adapt. Having to learn a new system, platform, algorithm, all that stuff, it comes and goes. But it looks like TikTok's here to stay, and it is what it is. You know, with everything going on, this comes out on the 20th, which is Trump takes office again. Everything happening in America, even outside of America. No better topic to go over today than focus. You have to focus. You have to be able to focus to get work done. And again, we're not making this political. We're not making this about anything other than you have a goal and you have a vision and you want to bring that vision to life. Or if you already have a business, you want to make it flourish, make it thriving and profitable at scale, right? And in order to do that, we need to focus. Now, to say just focus is cool, but at the same time, there are companies spending billions of dollars, like literally billions of dollars, almost $1 trillion just to get your attention. People say time is the most valuable thing. And there's a little asterisk there because technically, I'd say your attention is what you spend your time doing or paying attention to is more valuable than the actual time itself, right? Um, with that being said, you have to be able to focus. You have to be able to not get distracted. Though the trend for the attention span keeps going lower and lower and lower, it's up to you as a leader. It's up to you as an entrepreneur, as a person, um, building something to keep your focus. And the term goes hold your attention, right? And if we take a look at that term where it says hold your attention, that seems to be part of the actual struggle. People can't or don't believe they're capable of holding their attention, right? Imagine keeping your mind focused on one thing and one thing only. Even if somebody tries to just meditate for the first time, you'll find yourself um, with no stimulus, eyes closed. It's hard to focus, right? So we don't want to keep on going down the same road. We want to achieve better things. We want to progress. And in order to do that, we need to seek clarity. It's easy to focus on something when you have a very clear image of what it is you want to do or achieve or whatever it may be. We spoke a little bit about clarity in the last episode, as well as in my deep dive video, which is out now about goals. The first three aspects are really hold the theme of just clarity. You know, it's easy to act on something. It's easy to see something. It's easy to follow through with something if you have a very clear understanding of what you need to do and how you need to get there and what needs to get done, right? But when it comes to focus, and I always tell people, right? Um, I always tell people this example from back when I was working at Mercedes Benz. Um, it was just a regular morning. I don't know. It was just a regular morning, and I come into work, and granted, I was the warranty administrator, right? So I was on top of the money that goes out and making sure that we back charge Mercedes Benz accurately across the board for all the different departments, not just one. So, um, quick story on focus and how that can apply to you as an entrepreneur. I was walking into work one day and a salesman at the dealership said something very smart, like just some smart shit, some smart stuff. And I honestly can't even remember. Somebody say, I'll give you $1 million right now if you recall what the dude said. I'd lose that because I don't know what he said. But it was something that somebody might say is embarrassing or just deliberate in front of everybody there, right? Now, granted, that role of warranty administrator at the dealership held a lot of weight, held a lot of responsibility. You had to make sure that you're on top of a lot of numbers and every single department's on point. So I got work to do. On top of that, while I'm working, I got a business and I'm trying to make sure that business is making money. And this is a little bit foreshadowing as to what's to come. So I think halfway through the day, chick at the job was like, yo, Kyle, because we sat in this cubicle, not a bit. Imagine if we called it the bubble or the fish tank, right? It's not necessarily a cubicle. You got like 5 people sitting around the outskirts, and then I was over here in the corner. You had sales room, the sales floor right behind me, and I'm at my desk. I have my headphones in. I'm locked in, getting to it, right? And I want to say a couple hours passed after the incident this afternoon, and the chick says, "Hey, Kyle. Hey, KJC. Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's like, "Yo, you didn't how are you not affected by what dude said to you earlier in front of everybody? Like, that seems to be embarrassing, right?" And I still remember this to this day. I look at her and I tell her, I say, my goals are so big and what I have to worry about is so important that I can't allow myself to let something that small affect me. And it's that simple. Like, as soon as I get off work, I'm trying to coordinate this. I got to get this done. I got to look up this. I got to make some phone calls, do this meeting on top of the work that has to get done while I'm here. And I got to make sure I'm doing above average. I'll make sure I'm on top of it. I can't allow that to affect me. Right. And when we take that and we make that to a bigger scale, there's so many times in business where people will say, um, money is so important, and money is important. But I honestly wish that money was all of my problems. There's a lot of problems, especially things that I can't necessarily control, that are much more pressing than money, right? If there's a deadline, something needs to get done, and it's out of my hands, and I like physically cannot do it, and I can't get in communication with the person that's supposed to be finishing this so that I can have everything ready for a meeting the next day or that very morning. I'd much rather have a money problem than that problem, right? But that story and that example goes back to focus. And we have to not only hold our focus, but we have to determine what we choose to focus on. What we choose to focus on is going to, like, what do they say? Where your attention goes, your intention follows, or something like that. Or your results are the sum of your intentions, or something like that. I'm not sure the exact example verbatim, but you can't let things distract you, especially if you're an aspiring entrepreneur and you're working a 9 to 5 job. You can't let the drama. A lot of jobs have drama. I bet every single person says, yo, there was a camera here, like my workplace would be a sitcom, right? Everybody says that. And it's so true to an extent because almost every single workplace has some sort of drama. And if it's not drama, it's just stuff that you could easily get into if you allow it. So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you have to have a solid understanding that you can't get wrapped into the drama of other people, right? Like, it takes much more, I want to say, resilience to be able to say, I'm on a mission. I have something I'm trying to accomplish, and I can't allow myself to be distracted by this or that, right? Um, and holding your attention and focusing on something is much harder to do now than it was before. As I said a little bit earlier, people are literally spending billions of dollars to get your attention. Every single ad that you see, somebody paid to get in front of you, whether it's native, whether it's disruptive, like, your attention is valuable. People look at consumers as either numbers or just money, right? So If you're just trying to go about your day, it makes it that much harder for you to actually follow through and get done what you need done, right? One of the most common instances and the most common positions of the people that I find myself helping are the aspiring and new entrepreneurs that are building something but still working a job, right? And when it comes time for them to do the real work, like the 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5, they find themselves having trouble focusing. And to an extent, yeah, I got my business and stuff like that. I went from a 9 to 5 to working my own job and stuff like that, my own company. But you always get people like, oh, you don't get it. And I'm like, what do you mean I don't get it? I'm like, as soon as you get off work, you got 20 notifications. You have to, within that time, before you go to sleep, you have to have a social life. You have to hit the gym. You have to have a good relationship with your family, with your partner, with your brothers, sisters, cousins. You have to make sure that nothing's behind schedule. You probably have to make sure that you do this, you do that. And people tend to be like, golly, you understand? I'm like, yeah, I understand it. Because when I'm telling somebody, hey, you got that 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5 that you really need to lock in and get some work done, I'm understanding what I'm asking. If there's 168 hours in a week, and if we allocate 8 hours a day, give or take, 8 hours a day to sleeping, that 168 hours just went down to 108 hours. You take 9 to 5 that people are working, that's 40 hours a week. And then I try to account an hour to work, an hour after work, regardless if they have a commute or not, because there is time that has to be spent getting ready for work, whatever it may be. And basically, you went from 168 hours to roughly anywhere from like 62 to 72 hours left. And in that 72 hours or 62 hours, you got to do all those different things. So when I tell somebody to focus, it's not just a broad statement. It's, hey, I have a solid understanding that you want to get this thing done, right? You decided that you want to achieve this goal. You want to get this business off the ground, whatever it may be. But there's a couple things that you have to do to make sure that you get it done. And if we're only allotted 4 hours or 2 hours or an hour and a half from the moment you get off work to the moment that you got to pick up your kid or something like that, how are we going to make sure that you're able to get the work done that needs to get done while you're there, right? So if we just take this focus, right? One thing that focus likes is momentum. If you've ever been in the flow, you've been like just killing it, right? You understand that once you get going, it's not that hard. It's not that bad, but it tends to be getting going to be the hard part. So if we know all those things that we're fighting against that are vying for our time and attention from the moment we get off work, again, this is a part that most people don't talk about. You got to exploit your workplace. There's so many different ways that are just, I'd probably say, the untapped potential of your job, if you're still working a job, is insane. And what it allows you to prepare for entrepreneurship and running an actual business. And the best way that I found for people to really tap into that 5 to 9 after that 9 to 5 is by building momentum while they're working. But KJC, how am I going to build momentum while I'm working if I'm working a job, right? Well, I'll answer that. There's a lot of different things you can do. There's blocked out time, and I'm not talking about just a break or a lunch or something like that. People work different jobs. Not everybody has a break room. Not everybody gets to go out. Some people got to work through their lunch. But regardless, you're not working 8 hours a day straight. And even if you are working straight, let's say 6.5 or 7 out of those 8 hours, there's a lot of different things you can do while you're working that allow you to help prepare yourself for when you work on your business. I'll go in depth into that on this channel in a video at another time, because that's literally it for all my aspiring and new entrepreneurs to be able to really just tap into your 9 to 5, tap into your job, whatever it may be, not just saying those hours, and get the skills and the resources that are just sitting there to prepare you and set yourself up to have a thriving business and understanding to the best of your ability what's ahead of you before you leave, if you want to leave, is huge. And the focus and clarity that you get from the momentum of tapping in, let's say you're out at 5 o'clock and your exercise is from 4:15 to 5 o'clock. That 45 minutes, you're doing X, Y, and Z. The X, Y, and Z helps your business, gets information from a supervisor or a peer, whatever it may be. So by the time 5 o'clock hits, you're already somewhat in a roll. If you're already somewhat in a roll, if you got to go to Barnes and Nobles after work, or if you have to hit the gym, and then once you get home from the gym, you got to do this towards your business after work, it makes it so much easier than starting from scratch. Than taking a car that's in the cold, starting the engine going on cold is much different than if it's warmed up, right? I like to keep these podcast episodes conversational. So like I said, I'm going to go more in depth than an actual video. Reach out to me if you want some more information on that. But that's like when I say that's one of the biggest determining factors to the people that are not only successful with their launching of their business, compared to the ones that aren't, but it's literally focused and how you use your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5. And if you're even smarter than that, you use them part of your 9 to 5 towards your job, not your job, but towards your business idea, whatever it may be. But you can't allow yourself to overload, right? If you overload yourself and you end up with like analysis paralysis, you're not going to get some work done. So focus isn't just, I need to do this task. Sometimes focus means you have to cut some stuff out. You got to cut some stuff out and only focus on your top 3 priorities. I'm saying 3, but it varies depending on the context of your situation and what you're going after. But in this instance, if I know that I'm trying to, I just picked up a camera and I want to be a photographer, but not just any photographer. I want to be a commercial photographer. And we have a great goal because I just watched KJC's last episode and his deep dive. I know what I want, when I want it by. I know why I want it. And I know it's going to take time and everything else. But now I'm just watching videos. I'm watching this video, that video. I'm subscribed to this person. Next thing you know, the focus went from, or the mission went from, like learning about photography or doing photography to learning about photography. So once you learn enough, you feel like, oh, wow, okay, I did enough. I don't know what to do next. And that's not cool. It's not going to help you. When we say focus, we're going to take some blocked out time. We're going to say, this is how we're going to approach doing some research for these videos so I can be a better photographer. I'm going to block out 45 minutes. So I'm going to block out 1 hour. And in this 1 hour, I'm going to watch these 3 videos. These 3 videos are 10 minutes each. I'm going to watch the video. I'm going to take notes and then I'm going to watch again on 1.5 speed, whatever it may be. And then I'm going to compile my notes at the end for another 15 minutes. So now you have the allocated hour and then 15 minutes afterwards towards the YouTube videos. And in that 15 minutes of compiling all your notes and everything for that, then you figure out, okay, cool. After I watch these videos and compile my notes, the next thing I'm going to do is this. The thing after that is going to be this. And if I have time, it's going to be this. And in that explanation, we just went from watching videos to studying and reviewing videos, compiling notes. And now we have an action plan of 1, 2, 3 things to do. If you allow yourself to get overloaded, if you allow yourself to just get lost in this loop, in this whirlpool of just stuff, it's not working towards you. It's actually working against you. And that's if you actually just stay focused in this example on those videos. That's not including if you get on your phone or something like that. So you have to be focused, man. There's a lot of stuff happening. I know this next week is going to be crazy out here in America with everything going on in the news. But right now is the time more than any for you to test yourself, to show up and focus on what you need to focus on. And while you're doing that, and as I said, you can be overwhelmed, you have to remember to be present in each moment. If you have some allocated time, or let's say you don't have allocated time, you're just chilling, make sure you can be in that moment chilling. Make sure that you're not necessarily just trying to escape reality or escape whatever it is that's dragging you down, but be present. Take a moment, take a breath, reconnect, reflect. You have to be calm. A part of your day has to be peaceful. And one of the best ways to get back on track or to stay focused is to clear your mind, right? So I expect you to be some overly woo-woo zen, like just I got nothing in here except for the one thing. No. But at the same time, you don't need to have, you don't need to be working against yourself by having so many different moving parts. Um, so make sure you stay focused on this for, what am I going to call them? My 9 to 5 Franks, 9 to 5 Nico, 9 to 5 what? I need to figure out some names. My 9 to 5, I don't know. My 9 to 5 homies. There's so much that you can do right now. There's so much that you can attain right now. There's so much that your future self is going to thank you for setting yourself up if you focus, right? And for my intermediate and advanced entrepreneurs, got your own business, doing your thing, you making some money, but you want to make more money. Your focus is more so about cutting things out, not adding extra steps or things that are not going to move the needle, and making sure that you're actually working on things that are going to help progress you forward. So, second episode, Everything Entrepreneurship with Kyle Jerome Carter, talking about focus. We got a lot going on right now, and I want you to be your best self. And one of the best ways for you to do that is to not only pinpoint what you want, but to focus on it. And like I said, I don't know about this week, but I'm definitely going to put out a full video on how not only you can focus in the workplace, but like take it to the next level, exploit your workplace ethically. You feel me? But yeah, I don't know all of my call to actions yet. Might be on me. So listening to this, listen to it again, send it to somebody else who's an entrepreneur, in entrepreneurship as well, so they can get this message. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share. Let's get these numbers up and let's build this community. You know, you can find me on Instagram at kyle.jerome.carter. Yeah, we're in the early stages, but this is about to be amazing. It's already great now, so it's gonna make it better. All right, y'all. Signing off.